My name is Alex Bennett, and I should have known something was wrong the morning I found the lipstick stain on my shirt. I'd planned our wedding for June, just 6 weeks away, and yet here I was, staring at a dark red smudge on the collar of my crisp white dress shirt, a remnant of the concert we'd attended 2 nights before. Emily had laughed when I pointed it out, pressing her lips hard against mine. "That's just rock show lipstick, babe," she'd said. "Don't worry." But worry I did. Emily and I met in college at a mutual friend's New Year's Eve party. She was studying graphic design, with bright purple hair and an infectious laugh. I was a marketing major, earnest and a little awkward. We bonded over a shared obsession with 90s indie rock, spending late-night pizza runs debating track lists and jamming out in her cramped dorm room. After graduation, she landed a coveted internship at Wexler & Company, a boutique advertising agency, her dream job, and I joined a tech startup as a junior marketing associate. 2 years later, we moved into a loft in the city's arts district, furnished with thrift store finds, a distressed leather sofa, a glass coffee table covered in vinyl records, and a battered upright piano Emily played on lazy Sundays. Baxter, our rescue golden retriever, kept watch over the apartment, chasing stray socks down the hall. Work was hectic, my product launches, her client pitches, but we balanced each other, our routines interwoven. Midnight text messages, breakfast smoothies, and nightly shows on the couch. Then, 8 months ago, Emily was offered a full-time position at Wexler & Company, promoted to senior creative strategist. I celebrated her success, pouring champagne on our balcony and toasting to her future. She beamed, slipping her arm through mine and promising to throw the best engagement party we could imagine. 6 months later, on a windy January evening, I got down on one knee in front of the city skyline. Emily sobbed in the cold, nodded between tears, and we embraced as fireworks burst overhead, a perfect moment. Planning the wedding became our shared obsession. An outdoor ceremony beneath the magnolia tree at Riverbend Park, reception at the Historic Art Museum, a playlist of our favorite songs. Sarah, Emily's best friend and matron of honor, helped me pick invitations. My mother mailed samples of her grandmother's pearl earrings to the bridal suite. We celebrated each milestone: cake tastings, dress fittings, tux measurements. I still wore the shirt with the lipstick stain once, thinking Emily would realize I'd kept it on purpose, until she rolled her eyes and gently told me to wash it. Then came the first strange evening. Emily's phone lit up with a text during dinner. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Winky face." From a contact saved only as M. My heart tightened, but Emily dismissed it as a work vendor, Mark, an old boss of hers who'd moved on to client relations. When I pressed, "Which Mark?" "The guy who used to be your internship supervisor." She laughed and shook her head. "No, that's a different Mark. He's an acquaintance at the gallery." I believed her. A week later, I found a hotel keycard, Wexler & Company letterhead, room 407, wedged between the pages of her planner. It fell into my hand as I helped her organize client folders. She gasped, cheeks pale. "Oh God, Alex, it's from the conference hotel," she said. I had a rough night and dropped it. I nodded, heart pounding, and slipped it into my pocket. But at home, I quietly Google mapped the address and realized the conference took place over in Sacramento, not downtown. My stomach roiled. I started noticing late-night emails from MR, calendar invites for MP meetings at Odd Body Bar, and phone calls she silenced before I could see the name. Baxter paced the floor when she came home, whining at her heels. One evening I confronted her gently. "Emily, who is M?" She closed her laptop slowly, exhaled, and said, "Alex, it's nothing. Just a programming guy I met years ago. He's visiting to bounce ideas for a pro bono project. It's harmless." I forced a smile and nodded, choosing to trust her. Days later, I returned home early from a product launch prep and found our bedroom door locked. I knocked softly. She called, "Just a minute." I heard laughter. My throat clenched. I pressed my ear against the wood and heard a man's deep chuckle. I knocked again, louder. "Emily, it's me." The door swung open. She stood inside in my old hoodie, hair messy, cheeks flushed. No sign of the man. She adjusted her sleeves. "Sorry, just getting changed." My heart thundered. That night, I lay awake in our bed, cold beside her warmth. I scrolled through her playlists, saw the messages deleted, but still glimpsed fragments like, missed you, and remember that time? My trust eroded like salt water on stone. By morning, I had tracked down the conference hotel's website, called with a fake name, and confirmed that had stayed in room 407 the night before I found the card. The line went dead when I asked to speak with Mr. R. No call back. I realized I had no proof, just my suspicion and a growing sense of betrayal. I needed confirmation. So I followed Emily to the after-party gala for one of her major clients, slipping in with my old press pass. In the museum's marble hall, I watched her cross the room and disappear down a side corridor. I followed her, heart pounding, and peered around the corner into the service elevator as it closed. I jumped inside, pressed 4 for the 4th floor, and the doors opened to a dark hallway. My steps echoed as I walked toward room 407. The card slid into the lock and clicked. I cracked the door and saw them, Emily and Mark, embraced on the edge of the bed. He leaned in, his hand on her hip. Emily's eyes fluttered closed. They looked like two teenagers caught in a rush of adrenaline, oblivious to anything but each other. My world tipped. I backed out, heart hammering, and fled the hallway. I ran down the stairs and burst into the main hall, where guests mingled beneath chandeliers. No one noticed my disheveled state. I bolted for the exit, collapsing on the sidewalk, lungs burning. The betrayal was complete. Emily had slept with her old boss, the mentor she'd always admired, the man she claimed was just a friend. That night, I sat on the curb, phone in hand, staring at her name. The countdown to our wedding had 6 weeks left. I typed, then deleted. Why? Over and over. Finally, I deleted her entire contact card. I realized I had to vanish to remove myself from the life I'd built with her, because I could not share a future with someone who sought excitement and betrayal. My revenge would be total disappearance. I checked into a hotel and shut out the world. Emily called every 5 minutes. I let her voicemail spool. My friends texted, "Are you guys okay?" I replied, "Need space." I researched divorce lawyers and prepped financial accounts for separation. Emily's wedding planning emails turned to frantic questions. "Alex, where are you?" I typed one reply, "I'm done. Don't contact me," and hit send. Then I turned off my phone. In the weeks that followed, I ghosted Emily completely. No social media, no messages, no appearances at the engagement party. I changed the locks, closed our shared bank accounts, and transferred Baxter's custody to my apartment. Each action cemented her loss. The man she betrayed no longer belonged to her. The silence was my final gift, and my revenge. The first 2 weeks were brutal. I woke at 3 a.m. with panic. Was Emily in my bed? I reached, finding only cool sheets. Phone notifications blinked on my nightstand, her missed calls. I silenced the screen without looking. Baxter paced beside me, whining. I comforted him with a pat on the head, whispering, "She's gone, buddy." The apartment felt empty without Emily's late-night cooking and sitcom laughter. At work, I became a ghost of my former self, efficient but cold. Clients praised my focus. Coworkers wondered what had changed. I said nothing about my personal life. Each day I dressed in a crisp shirt and tie, pretending the pain was nothing but a minor detail. In reality, I spent lunch breaks drafting the divorce petition and evenings meeting a lawyer for consultation. My lawyer, Ms. Ramirez, handed me forms titled Dissolution of Marriage and Declaration of Irreconcilable Differences. She looked sympathetic. "Cheating before the wedding is usually considered a breach of contract," she said. "It strengthens your case for immediate separation." I nodded, tortuous relief washing over me. Finally, a way to make it official, Emily's betrayal would have legal consequences. At home, I packed her belongings into boxes, our anniversary photos, her engagement ring displayed in a shadow box, her collection of designer clutches. I set them on the front porch with a note, "Please collect your things." I felt like a soldier burning bridges behind me. Each box removed was another piece of our life I reclaimed for myself. A week later, the neighbors texted, "We saw the boxes. Everything okay?" I replied, "Personal matters. Thanks for checking." No one questioned further. I refused to invite gossip. Our breakup was mine to control. But in the silence, I realized how much noise had filled our life before. Her music lessons, my work calls, Baxter's barks, and I appreciated this emptiness as a canvas for something new. Then, on a rainy Thursday, my phone pinged with a subpoena notification. Emily had filed to contest the separation, seeking to reclaim shared assets and insist on marital counseling. Her lawyer's letter accused me of abandonment and demanded I mediate. I chuckled in the empty hallway. Abandonment? I'd been abandoned first, by her betrayal. But the subpoena meant she needed me more than ever. Her attempt to drag me back into her life would fail. I prepared for mediation with meticulous care. I printed copies of emails she'd sent admitting her affair. I wanted to experience him before our big day, the hotel receipts, the photo evidence I'd snapped covertly outside room 407. At the mediator's office, I laid it all out. Betrayal, concealment, the emotional toll on me. Emily wept on the couch, offering apologies and promises of therapy. I met her gaze without pity. I can't trust you, I said. I don't want to sit here pretending this never happened. The mediator ruled in my favor. No joint assets to divide. She forfeited the deposit on the wedding venue. I got full custody of Baxter, and each party paid their own fees. It was clinical but final, my revenge realized in cold policy. I left the building feeling both victorious and hollow. That night, I took Baxter for a walk in the empty park. The lampposts glowed against rain-slicked paths. Baxter's wet fur glistened. I knelt to scratch behind his ears. "We did it, buddy," I whispered. "We're free." In the distance, a train rumbled past. Its echo a reminder that life moves forward, regardless of pain. I stood, walked home, and slept deeply for the first time in weeks. Baxter curled against my leg. Weeks turned into a month. The divorce was final. Emily's name disappeared from my accounts and my social feeds. I began dating again, cautious and honest about my past. I joined a hiking club, outdoors where judgment faded and fresh air cleared my mind. Baxter bounded alongside me, grateful for freedom from the tension that once crackled in our shared spaces. One evening I found an email from Emily's lawyer. Settlement complete. She thanks you for your cooperation and wishes you well. No apology, no I miss you, just a perfunctory sign-off. I closed the laptop and looked at Baxter, who whimpered for his dinner. I scooped him up, feeling a fierce protectiveness. The woman who'd betrayed me no longer had a claim on my heart. Baxter and I forged our future together, bound by loyalty and love. 2 months after sealing the divorce, spring breathed new life into my world. Cherry blossoms bloomed along the boulevard, and Baxter chased petals in our backyard. I painted the living room walls a warm sage green. No more Emily's pastel prints. I set up my gaming console again, tackling titles we'd once played together, this time solo. The absence of her cheery commentary made victories quieter, but no less sweet. On weekends, I attended pottery class, molding clay on a spinning wheel, exercises in patience and creativity. My ceramics teacher, Ms. Liu, praised my first vase. "There's strength in your lines." I realized my hands could shape more than code. They could craft something tangible, imperfect yet beautiful. Each cracked lip and wobbly base mirrored my own imperfections reclaimed into art. One Thursday, I dragged myself out of bed to run errands, groceries, dry cleaning, library, when I spotted Emily across the street, leaning against a lamppost, phone in hand. She looked up, our eyes met, and her face went pale. I kept walking, heart pounding. Baxter tensed on his leash. Emily called my name. "Alex." But I pressed ahead. No turning back. Later that day, I found a letter slipped under my door. Emily's handwriting skittered across the page. "I know I don't deserve this, but I got fired. He made false promises, I thought I could start over, and I lost everything. I'm living with my sister on the east side. If you ever think we can talk, I'll be here." My chest tightened. Another plea for my presence. I crumpled the note and tossed it, thinking of the emptiness I'd sworn to preserve. Yet despite my resolve, I called my sister. "Hey, have you heard from Emily?" She sighed. "She's staying with me, trying to get back on her feet. She misses you." I ended the call. Emily's misery was her own to bear. I could no longer rescue her from consequences. That same week, I hosted a barbecue for friends, Kelly and Marcus from the Dog Cafe, my college roommate Dan, and a few new faces from my coding meetup. Baxter romped through the yard as we grilled burgers and vegan kebabs. Laughter rang out, clinking glasses under the string lights. For the first time since betrayal, I felt truly present, unanchored by regret. In early May, an unexpected package arrived. A framed photograph of me and Emily at a summer music festival, ourselves smiling, sunlit. No note. I stared at its glossy surface, then placed it face down on the mantel. Our past was a memory I chose to honor by letting go. On May 15th, exactly 3 months post-divorce, I received a text from an unknown number. I know what I did was unforgivable. I just wanted you to know I've changed. I understand if you never forgive me. I stared at the message, then deleted it. My answer had been written in the silence I maintained, the walls I'd rebuilt, and the life I reclaimed. Late spring edged into summer, and with it came my new rhythm. Morning runs beside the river's gentle currents, midday coding sprints at my standing desk, and evenings strumming acoustic melodies on the balcony. Baxter's golden fur glinted in the sunset glow as he nosed my hand for pets, his unwavering loyalty a balm for my wounded heart. In those quiet hours, just us and the hum of city life, I felt whole again, unburdened by the past. On a warm June afternoon, I found myself standing beneath the magnolia tree at Riverbend Park, our long-dreamed wedding site. But instead of nervous excitement, I felt calm curiosity. Friends had surprised me with a birthday ceremony there, wishing me well for my 31st year, not my nuptials. Balloons bobbed on the lawn, laughter echoed, and for the first time I smiled without looking back. When Kelly raised her glass, she said, to Alex, finding himself, and I realized that even the most cherished dreams could be reborn, transformed by new purpose. Back at my apartment, I scrolled through social media, hesitating before typing Emily Bennett. Her profile showed a new position as junior designer at a local nonprofit and candid photos of her volunteering at community art classes. No mention of our faded promises, just the life she was rebuilding. A pang of nostalgia tugged at me, but as I thumbed through her posts, I felt no desire to return. Instead, I wished her well silently and closed the app, cherishing the distance I'd maintained for my own healing. One evening, after a long day of work, I hopped on my motorcycle and headed to a riverfront cafe where Baxter and I often stopped for iced tea and puppy biscuits. The owner greeted us by name and asked about my latest hiking trip to Evergreen Hill. I told her about the wildflower bloom, how the purple lupins and yellow buttercups had carpeted the slopes like an impressionist painting. She smiled, jotting my recommendation down for other patrons. Simple conversations like these reminded me that life's pleasures don't always require grand plans. Sometimes they're found in shared stories and warm greetings. As July rolled in, I decided to take a week off and camp in the Cascades. With Baxter's leash clipped to my backpack, I hiked rugged trails, the sun filtering through towering pines. Nights were spent by a crackling fire, the Milky Way arcing above us. I roasted marshmallows on a stick, their sugary scent mingling with cedar smoke. At dawn, I sketched mountain peaks in my journal, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for the resilience that had carried me from heartbreak to this peaceful solitude. Upon returning, I enrolled in a weekend pottery workshop, an activity Emily had urged me to try ages ago. My instructor, Ms. Liu, guided my hands at the wheel, teaching me to shape clay with deliberate pressure. My first attempt, a lopsided mug, tilted to one side but held water without spilling. She applauded, imperfection gives it character, and I realized that our flaws, my own and Emily's, had shaped us as much as our strengths. At work, I pitched a major client on a campaign that merged technology and community outreach, an idea born from my time volunteering at the animal shelter. My presentation was met with enthusiastic applause and a new contract that would expand our team's scope. I felt a surge of pride, my professional success no longer defined by a partner's reflection but by my own creativity and drive. In late July, a friend invited me to a summer block party in our neighborhood. Colorful lights draped from tree to tree, food trucks lined the street, and live music filled the air. I sipped lemonade beside a taco stand while Baxter chased a frisbee in a makeshift dog park. I struck up a conversation with Lena, a graphic artist whose easy smile hid her own tales of betrayal. We traded stories, mine recent, hers years past, and discovered a shared sense of humor about life's curveballs. By night's end, she insisted on cooking me dinner sometime. I told her, I'd like that, genuinely looking forward to seeing where a new connection might lead. Amid these new experiences, I continued to honor my past. On the kitchen shelf sat the pale green vase Emily and I had painted in pottery class, filled now with fresh daisies from my neighbor's garden, a symbol of growth rather than shattered dreams. I tended potted herbs on my windowsill, trimming basil and mint for evening dinners. Each small ritual, watering plants, feeding Baxter, tuning my guitar, wove a tapestry of domestic warmth I had feared lost forever. One muggy August afternoon, I received an email from Emily's lawyer. Pursuant to the settlement, your ex-fiancée requests you return her journals and artwork still in your possession. I stared at the message, considering the intimate records of our life together, our engagement sketches, her wedding mood boards. Instead of anger, I felt compassion. I packed the items in a neat box, addressed it to her sister's apartment, where Emily had moved, and added a note, wishing you peace and creativity. No flourish, no bitterness, just a final gesture of goodwill. Life continued its steady pulse into early autumn. Baxter and I tackled logging roads turning amber and gold, crunching leaves underfoot. I volunteered at the community shelter in exchange for Luna's occasional playdates. My dog companion, always a reminder that love endures and forms both human and canine. I mastered new riffs on my guitar, writing lyrics about resilience and moving forward, melodies shaped by every twist of heartache and hope. As October settled in, I found myself walking beneath the same magnolia tree at Riverbend Park. The petals had fallen months ago, but the stately branches remained. I paused in the dappled light, inhaled deeply, and whispered to the empty sky, thank you. Not for the betrayal or the loss, but for the lessons that forged me into someone stronger, more compassionate, and fully myself. That evening, I hosted a small gathering in my apartment. Lena, Kelly, Marcus, and a few coding buddies. We strung fairy lights, shared homemade chili, and danced to a playlist of autumn jazz. Baxter dozed by my guitar amp, content. Someone raised a toast. To Alex's rebirth. Laughter and clinking glasses filled the room, a warm chorus against the chill creeping in the windows. In the quiet that followed, I scrolled through my phone to remove Emily's name from my contact list. Her number now just a string of digits in the digital ether. My thumb hovered, then hit delete. The final severance felt symbolic, a cutting of electronic ties that had once bound us. Baxter looked up at me, eyes bright, as if sensing the closing of an old chapter. Later that night, I settled into bed with guitar in hand. No expectations, just the soft glow of the bedside lamp and Baxter curled at my feet. I began to play a new song, chords rising and falling in gentle waves. The melody carried the weight of every misstep and every triumph. I closed my eyes and let the music fill me, a testament to survival, growth, and the promise of love yet to come. In the end, Emily had sought a fleeting thrill. I had sought enduring peace. Our paths diverged on the precipice of betrayal, but in the silence that followed, I discovered that true beginning often springs from the ashes of what was. And as the final notes echoed into the darkness, I felt certain that the next chapter, still unwritten, would be my finest yet.